Hello everyone, welcome to the stream, and today we're gonna do one more time the on-air manager before I take a break from it, as I'll be traveling. So I'll just take a quick break from doing on-air manager streams. So today we're gonna do, I hope, multiple hops based on how it goes. So let's go ahead and pick our missions. Right now we are placed in Kilo Victor Golf Charlie. So let's go ahead. From our filter presets, we'll choose Kodiak 100, and yeah, we'll do from 35 because yesterday when we did from 50, it didn't show up any jobs. Everything looks good, so let's go ahead and query our logistics center and see what we have for jobs. Okay, a lot of them. That's good. So let's filter them by pay. So the highest pay is, also let me actually set the airport size to 2 before we do anything else. Okay, see, now it cut down a lot. Okay, it looks like we have 3 jobs that we can stack on top of each other. Let's see which ones will be good. So if we take this is 4 passengers to Kilo Bravo Golf Mike Binghamton, which is 42 miles away. So let's take that. And 3, that won't do it because of our configuration, but we can definitely take this job right here. So we have stacked 2 jobs right now. If we go to pending, it will show us 2 jobs. Okay, let's go ahead to our live operations map. And select on prepare for the next flight. So once we do that, we are going to be taken to this page, and here we're gonna just add some fuel. Then we'll select all the stuff that needs to go in and all the passengers that needs to board. So we're still looking really good with our weights and everything. So let's go ahead, validate fuel and payload. Once we are done with that, we are going to start tracking on our simulator and then start setting up our aircraft and flight plans. Okay, everything looks good here. We're gonna press on fly now and start tracking our aircraft. So here you can see first on the flight plan section, we can see all the details for our departure airport. We have runway 17 and runway 35, and currently the winds are coming from 130. So most probably we're going to use runway 17. And we can go ahead and start tracking. So once we have the flight tracking, we'll press on flight data and we are done with on-air manager. So let's go ahead into our aircraft and start turning it on. So I'll follow my small checklist. Once again, if anyone wants this checklist, you can let me know. So let's check with our parking brake is set. I can see on my Bravo throttle quadrant. Electrical switches off, circuit breakers. Let's take out the standby altitude. I don't need that. Okay, fuel selector valves, let's turn them on. Left and right goes on. Then firewall shut off. So it's, let me try to go there. Which button was it? Yeah, there you go, 2. Okay, so this is the firewall fuel shut off. So we're gonna push it in. And all our flaps are up as well. Next, we're gonna do a quick check of before engine start checklist. So power lever is on idle, propeller is feathered, and our fuel condition lever is on cutoff position. So next, let's go ahead, turn on our master, our avionics bus, and we are going to turn our nav light and our strobe light. Now that we have those, let's go ahead into our MCDU. Not MCDU, never mind. Let's go ahead to our MFD. Okay, once again my loop deck is doing something, so let me check my SPAD next. Looks good. Okay, let me just restart my SPAD next. I don't know what is the issue with this. Okay, SPAD next is running. Once we have that running, we should try one more time and check if my loop deck is working or no. Yesterday after the stream when I tried it, it was working fine. Still not working, very weird. So every time I stream it doesn't work. I wonder why. Let's go to loop deck live, activate. Oh, there you go. Okay, so for some reason it deactivates my device. Okay, now that that is working, let's go ahead and select our flight plan. So to start with, okay, so we are in Kilo Victor Golf Charlie, and we are gonna be taking aren't we on Kilo Victor? Yeah, we are. Okay, there you go. We are gonna be taking runway 17, which let me check. Yep, enter. So runway 17, there you go. We have it on our map, and then we are going to direct to our destination, which is Kilo Bravo Golf Mike. So let's go at Kilo Bravo Golf and Mike. For that, let me quickly check our meter information right over here. Oh, no winds at all. Sounds good. Let's see what runway we are going to be, or we should take actually. Okay, I didn't do that. Let me go down here. Yeah, okay, there is a lot of available option. We are most probably going to take runway 16. Yeah, let's take runway 16 as there is no winds, and if the winds change later we can just simply go ahead and change that. So now we're gonna go to procedure page, we're gonna select approach, and we can take ILS runway 16, but we don't need to, so we're gonna go ahead and take visual 16. We'll enter that and we'll go straight up, and we're gonna load that into our flight plan. So this looks like we are done here. Before we get out of this section, let's go ahead and set our altitude. I think the airport elevation is somewhere around 1500 feet, so we are going to fly at about 8,000 today. Okay, there you go, 8,000 is selected, and we're gonna turn on our CDI to GPS. And also we're gonna set our vertical profile, and for that we're gonna initially climb at about 1100 feet, and then we can figure out the rest. Okay, now that we have all that set up, let's go ahead for our engine start. So before we move from this page, let me quickly remove the flight plan from here, zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, so our batteries 1 and 2 is minimum 24, so we have 25. That is good. Beacon light can come on. Okay, beacon light is on, and next auxiliary fuel pump is going to come on. Our starter switch is gonna, let me just quickly go over the entire process. So next we're gonna turn our starter to high, and we're gonna watch our NG rising minimum 14%. Once it does go above 14%, we're gonna put our fuel condition lever to low idle, and then we'll check for minimum 53 or greens NG ITT. And once we have those two in greens, we can shut off our starter, put our auxiliary fuel pump to standby, and our propeller can go to max. Right after that, generator, alternator, and auxiliary bus will come on. So let's go ahead, put our starter to high, and now we're gonna just watch this number go up to 14%. There you go, we crossed 14, so we're gonna put our fuel condition lever to low idle, and then we're gonna just keep watching this until this goes to green. So we have that in green, our starter switch can come off and our auxiliary fuel pump can go to standby. Propeller will go to max. Once we have all that good, our ITT is in greens, our RPM will go to green in just a bit. We can turn our generator, alternator, and auxiliary bus. Okay, we have a clean start of the aircraft. Also, let's set our altimeter. It is 2968. So we're gonna set that to 2968. There you go, we have that. Now static heat, they want it on, so we're gonna go ahead, turn that on. Everything is looking perfect, and we will be shortly taxiing. Okay, for taxi, we're gonna go ahead, taxi light can come on. We'll set our flaps 20 degrees. So let's go ahead, 20 degrees flaps set for takeoff. And our rudder trim, so this is something that is a little bit important. So we're gonna set our rudder trim, not too much today because yesterday I was having some issues with that too. So rudder trim is set just a little bit. Everything else is set, so we are good for taxi. So let's take our parking brakes off, and we're gonna apply just a little. Wow, it started moving immediately. Great. So the weather isn't looking too good. The base of the cloud is 10,000 feet. So we are gonna be staying under those dark clouds for a bit. Come on, aircraft, move. So we are on Alpha taxiway. We'll go right at the end and then line up on runway 17. Looks like once we take off, we have to take a right turn to get to our pink line, which is basically our GPS line, and then we'll turn on our autopilot. Let me just set up everything for autopilot. So nav is on, vertical speed is on. Also today I'll show you how to use the VNAV button on Kodiak 100. Let's set our heading bug to our runway heading, which is 169. So we are almost at the holding position for the runway. So my before takeoff checklist is right in front of me, and once we are holding short of the runway, we will set those up. Okay, I will set my parking brake just to quickly go over everything. So taxi light can come off, landing lights can come on. Next, our flaps is set. Our auxiliary fuel pump is going to come on, and our fuel condition lever will go high idle. So let's go ahead, take the parking brakes off. Our fuel condition lever is gone on high idle. As you can hear, the engine just raving. I'll zoom out of. Okay, so we are lined up properly and we are good to go for a takeoff. I should have set rudder trim just a little bit more, but we can do with what we have here. We're at 60 knots.
Airborne time log 0 at 8 knots.
Okay, flaps can go up. Flaps 1. I should have set my rudder trim a little bit more, and we are reaching about 90 knots, so flaps completely up. Auxiliary fuel pump can go off. I'll cut down the power just a little bit more, increase the V speed to about 1500, and we're going to turn on the autopilot shortly. So this is good enough, and our autopilot comes on. So now we're going to be climbing to 8,000 feet. It is not going to be too long of a flight, but we are going to do some more hops if the time allows and if everything works good. So climbing speed target is around 100 knots, 105 knots. So before we drop below that, let me just keep the power managed. So after takeoff, our flaps has been retracted. There you go. And our auxiliary fuel pump is on standby because I can hear that annoying noise that it makes. Now all we have to do is just enjoy the view. I'll move this away, and there you go, one of my favorite views of the Kodiak. Also, I think there's one thing that I should do. Because this is a short flight, what we are gonna do is go to our procedure and we're gonna activate our approach. So what this will do is, if we go to flight plan, first it will show us our top of descent, which is in about 19 minutes, and also in the map we are heading straight to the straight point for runway 16. I mean, according to the weather report, there is no winds at all. There are broken clouds at 065 and overcast as 080. Altimeter is 2968. Yeah, all the information that we need, we have it. So it looks like it's gonna be good. Easy flight. So we have reached our cruising altitude. The clouds don't look too good, and we are cruising. We're gonna turn on our, put up our power just a little bit more. I can already see the TOD point on our MFD, and let's go to flight plan section. So it's in about 5 minutes. Wow. So once we start cruising, it's really fast. Let's check our winds. Yeah, we have direct headwind, 20 knots. Let's set our heading to our landing runway headings, which will be 160. There you go. We know where our runway is. The heading is set. Altimeter is 2968, and all those information you can find right on OnAir Manager. This is why I love this add-on so much. So there you go, our destination airport information right here. Base cloud is at 6500 feet, overcast. Winds are calm, perfect condition, and all our flight events. Just put the follow aircraft, so this way we follow it. So right here on the string it says that within 10 minutes we're gonna be there. So a very short hop, but fun because of the plane. So we are cruising at around 152 knots right now, and the clouds ain't looking too good. Let's go to our MFD. Yeah, our TOD point is in about four minutes. And also I'll show you how to use the VNAV, which is let me go here, which is this button which hides right behind the altitude selector. So right here is our VNAV button. Once we are close to TOD point or almost crossing by, we can turn that on and we can start descending. We don't have to worry about selecting the V speeds and all that, because normally I just select my vertical speed to descend, but in this case I'll show you how to use the VNAV of Kodiak 100. Once again, an extremely good aircraft, study level, especially using the working title G1000 and XI mod. It makes it even better. So let's go ahead, 3.5 minutes. So we're approaching our TOD point pretty quick. Let's check all our T's and N's. So torque is good, ITT is good, RPM is good, and NG is good. All greens. Love seeing that. We have enough fuel quantity. Maybe on our before we start our next hop, we might refuel depending on how far we have to go. But as of right now, we are good. 3 minutes away from TOD point, and let me see, 2,772 feet. So I'm gonna select around 2,500, so we have some room if we end up reaching there and not fixing our altitude to our next waypoint, which is final approach fix after straight. So let's go ahead and sorry about that, my throat is still messed up. So 2,500 is what we're gonna select here. Actually, I'll just use the other knob. So 2,500. There you go. 2,500 is selected. Our heading bug is selected to our landing runway heading. And once again, if we go here, in about 2 minutes we'll start our descent. Right now it is overcast at 8,000 feet. According to our meter information at destination, the base is at 6,500. Okay, let's go ahead to our MFD. We are about just a minute away. So let me see if our VNAV is gonna activate right now. There you go, our VNAV is activated, which means once, so if we go to our PFD, it says VPath. So once we cross over our TOD point right over here, we are going to start descending. I'm just gonna stay on this screen just for a little bit to show you how it activates once we hit this top of descent point. So there you go, it says VPath is activated and we started descending. I'm gonna pull down on my power lever to make sure that we don't overspeed and we stay within 140 to 150 range, and then incrementally we're gonna go down to 130 to 140 for flap setting and all that before we hit our next waypoint. Right before we hit it, we're gonna put our flaps 1 down before we hit our final approach fix, flaps 2, and after that flaps 3 and landing. I hope it clears up after 6,500 and we can have a clear view of the runway. I see some rain even though our meter says it's calm and there is no rain. Also, once you hit the top of descent and you're on VNAV, you can see the BOD, bottom of descent. So in about 6.5 minutes we are gonna get to the altitude selected or whatever calculation our VNAV did, which is I believe 2,773 feet. So we're gonna get there within 6 minutes. The V deviation is basically how above or below you are from the calculated V path. I highly recommend you getting this aircraft and using the working title G1000 mod. It really makes it very immersive, and if you have a loop deck live or a loop deck CT, it's perfect because using SPAD next you can just so you can use all the buttons like menu, FPL, all of these buttons and these knobs. You can map it with the loop deck using SPAD next, which makes it so much easier. Like for me, in order to zoom in, zoom out, I just use my loop deck knob and it's very simple. Okay, 5.5 minutes and we are at bottom of descent, so we are going to quickly start with our before landing checklist in just a bit. Let me pull down power a little bit more, keeping it under 150 or at 150. So we don't want to go below 140 and we don't want to go above 150. Yeah, if you look, we are right at the base of the cloud, so we should have a clear view in just a bit. So right after we hit straight or on straight, we're gonna set our final approach fix. Actually, we can do right now because we're on VNAV. We can select our altitude to go to 19 actually. So 19, because we are on VPath, we don't have to really care about the altitude that much, but just set it up on a safe level because our final approach fix altitude is 1900 something, so we can just set it to that. We know that we are going to be at least 400 feet above the ground because our airport elevation is 1592. So we're about 3.5 minutes away from bottom of descent. Our altimeter is set, our landing lights are on. We are going to start setting our flaps once we are just about hitting our waypoint straight for visual landing at runway 16. And then we're right before we hit our final approach fix, we're going to go to flaps 2. And once we hit final approach fix, we are going to turn on our auxiliary fuel pump and flaps full. Our target landing speed is around 80 to 85 knots. Usually I've been landing pretty okay, I would say. One of the landings was terrible because of wind and grass runway. I had no idea where the runway is. That was funny. And the other one, we just landed a little bit too slow. So I'm going to try to keep our speed at around 80 knots. 80 to 85 knots. And let's try to have a good landing today. Our speed is increasing, so I'm just gonna drag it down because soon we are gonna hit our first waypoint to line up with the runway. So before I do that, I want to be around 140 to 145, or I want to go even lower actually, so we can set our flaps to 1. Our flap speed for flaps 10, when I say 1, so flaps 10 is 138 knots. So below 138 knots is our flaps 10. Our flaps, I think it's 20. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, so our flaps 20 speed is 120 knots, and flaps 35, which is full flaps, is 108 knots. Okay, I think this is time, so we'll set our first flaps to 10. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, there you go. So flaps to 10 set. We are good on our V path, and we can confirm with our V deviation. 4 feet doesn't really matter. And we can see our runway light on our, what is that, like 10 o'clock? 11 o'clock? Yeah, right there. And yeah, our speed is dropping a little bit, which is good, because we do need that drop. So we are at 128 right now, and we're gonna drop the speed just a little bit more, and we are lined up. Once we go a little bit more forward, I'm gonna turn off the autopilot, and we are gonna land the aircraft, cutting down the power even more so that we can put our flaps to 20. And there you go, flaps to 20. Airspeed is gonna start to decrease a little bit rapidly, so we gotta control that. So at about 130 knots, we are good. We're going to put it just a little bit less power, and autopilot is off. So from here on, we're gonna hand fly it. I'm gonna turn on my auxiliary fuel pump, and flaps full. There's a little bit of headwind though, which didn't show up on the METAR, but I think it's too insignificant. We are very low as per VSI, or I forgot, PAPI lights, I think. Yeah. We're coming in just a little bit fast here. It is annoyingly dark in here. Okay, we are right above the runway.
Landing time
There
logged.
you go, we landed. Wow, that was very bouncy. That was crazy. Very, very bouncy. Let's zoom in. So our initial touchdown was very, very nice at around 100 feet per minute. But then we started bouncing up just a little bit. I guess I didn't hold the yoke down. Alright, we landed a little bit fast. That was the main issue. So let's go ahead, take the right turn on this taxiway. Whoa, that's crazy. I have to be very careful with these. Line lights goes off, fuel condition lever can come to low idle, and we are just going to go straight ahead, stop, and choose our next destination. Okay, auxiliary fuel pump can come off. That was a very bad taxi call. Taking it too sharp, we almost destroyed this whole mission. I should say two, because we have stacked two missions or two jobs for OnAir Manager. Can hide the flight plan page, and we'll just focus on right there. I hope this is definitely not the general aviation ramp, so I'm gonna go a little bit to the left and then park over there. Let's pull up our flaps all the way up. Also, one thing about OnAir Manager is that you have to completely shut off your aircraft before they can register the job as done. I see some GA aircraft on my right, so we're gonna go there and park. Also, I'm very annoyed with Flight Simulator and having these cars always moving around, hitting our planes, stopping at taxiways. Very unrealistic. So we're just gonna go park next to that. Is that a Kodiak? Maybe. So we're just gonna park right next to it and shut off our engines. Yep, that is a Kodiak. Okay, parking brake can come on, taxi light can go off, nav light, strobe light can go off. We can put our propeller to feathering and cut off
Engine off
our
time
engine.
logged. The flight is finished.
So
It has
alternator
been
generator
monitored
can
by
come
OnAir.
off. So we're gonna leave our beacon light is also gonna go off. Everything else is gonna stay how it is. And let me show you our page. So we did touch down at 84 knots, which I believe was a little bit too fast in this case. But here you go, our landing rate here, our landing G here, and let's check this out. Soft landing, they consider it as a soft landing. That is good. So we completed two jobs, and now let's go ahead find our next job. Once again, we're gonna select our Kodiak 100, and let's go ahead, query, and look for jobs. Okay, not too much to play around here. What is this? Penn Valley. What about if we increase our distance to about 150 nautical miles? Okay, we have a mission to Albany. We can go back to where we came from. Oh no, sorry, that's really far. Around 73. I think I'm gonna do this. Canandaigua. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this mission because it is 24,000 and it is 73. So we can go ahead take that. I'll keep our nav and strobe on, and let's go to our live operations map. Prepare the next flight. It is 73 nautical miles. We should have more than enough fuel for that. So we're just gonna load the cargo, which is dried goods and scientific fact-finding team of 3. Sounds good. Important people in our aircraft today. So Kilo India Uniform Alpha is our destination airport, and we are going to set that onto our flight plan in just a bit. Okay, let's go ahead, fly now. And let's start tracking. Okay, we're good with everything here. Let's go ahead, set our aircraft now. So we'll zoom out just a little bit, go to flight plan, menu, and we are going to delete our flight plan. Okay, our new flight plan will be so we are at Kilo Bravo Golf and Mike. So Binghamton, we'll go enter. Let's see, it still says 0 knots. We're just going to take the runway right next to us, which will be, well, let's try to take a guess. What runway will that be? 10. Yeah, that'll be 10. If we look at our compass, it will tell us that will be 10. So let's go ahead, select 10. We have that, and destination is Kilo India Uniform Alpha. So Kilo India and Uniform and Alpha. So there you go, we have it. Let's check that meter. So 140 at 5 knots. So let's check what runway they have. 13, perfect. So select that runway and we'll go to procedures, select arrival procedure and visual runway 13. We'll go straight and then we will go ahead and load that. So this time we're gonna fly at about 10,000 feet initially. So let's go ahead, set our altitude. What's wrong with this? Okay, let's go ahead, set our altitude to 10,000 feet. Okay, that's taking forever. We'll use something else. Yep. So 10,000 feet it is. Okay, we have that 10,000. Everything else is looking good. We have our CDI to GPS. Let's go. What is our next checklist? So our flaps are full up. I remember that. Master switch is on. Avionics switch is on. All our levers are in idle, feather, and cutoff position. Nav and strobes are on. Flight plan is set. CDI is set. Battery voltage is 25. We are good. So let's go ahead, turn on our engine. So beacon light can come on. And okay, so this is already on standby. Let's go ahead and turn our auxiliary fuel pump on. Our starter can go to high, and we are checking for minimum NG 14, and there you go. So our fuel cutoff can come to low idle. We are checking for green NG here, and ITT is in green. Everything else is going good. Once we have that 53, there you go. Starter switch can come off, auxiliary fuel pump can come back to standby, and propeller lever can go to max. And we have a good start. Everything is green except our RPM, which is increasing, so that makes sense. We'll turn on our generator, alternator, and auxiliary bus for our air conditioning. Okay, pitot heat can come on. There you go. And we are good for taxi. So before taxi, checklist. Okay, taxi light will come on shortly. We'll set our flaps for takeoff 20%, and we'll set our rudder trim. So this time I'm gonna do it just about here. There you go. This sounds good. We are going to take a left turn here, and then take this taxiway, go straight here, line up with runway 10, take off, and then take a U-turn towards left. Take a turn towards left. So all that makes complete sense. And pitot heat is on. So let's go ahead, turn on our taxi, and we'll take our parking brakes off, and we'll start moving. So while we're moving, let's set our runway heading to our heading bug, which is 98 for runway 10. Okay, we're moving a bit too fast. That is definitely snow. That is not rain. Okay, we are at holding short point for our runway, so we're gonna zoom out here. And now before takeoff, checklist. So taxi light can go off, landing lights will come on, our auxiliary fuel pump can come on, and our fuel condition lever can go max. So this looks good. Let's go ahead and line up with our runway. Flaps is set for takeoff, and we'll simply just line up and go ahead. I'm good with that. Power for takeoff. There you go.
Airborne time logged.
First set of flaps goes up. Once we hit 90, we can set our second flaps up. Yep, there you go. Auxiliary fuel pump can come off. Ooh, I did not notice that. Okay, let's set our V speed. It is already set, so just going to take a turn. The weather just took a turn for real bad. And we can climb up here. There you go. Autopilot is on, and we are climbing away. I set up our climbing rate at V speed 1800 because I can just cut down my power a little bit and set that to 1500 so that we stay around 100 knots, somewhere around 100 knots, 110 knots. Should be good enough for a climb. the weather is not looking good. So destination airport weather is base at 4300, overcast as well, 140 at 5 knots, and QNH is 2968. Look at the winds are at 18 knots. That is some wind. Right now it says 42 minutes, but it's gonna significantly drop the moment we get to our cruising altitude. Also our NCTs are on green, so we are good there. There is nothing much to enjoy in this flight because of the overcast weather and rain and snow. Yeah, we can't see anything. We do have some cargo in there. Other than that, we cannot see anything. We are climbing really good though. Already at 6,200. Let's go to our MFD and activate our procedure so that we head directly to the place. Yeah, there you go. If we zoom out, here we have to go make a big turn and then line up so we can check finer details of our approach. If we so this is where I use the mouse because I do not have a button that moves all direction, but I can still set up. I think, yeah, I'll try to set it up somewhere on there. Yeah, there you go. So we'll go take a turn, make it to final and land. Sounds good. Ooh, the rain just increased. Let's check the winds. 23 knots. Nice. I'm just going to add a little bit more power. So we'll try to get over these overcast clouds. Let me actually check if there is an ILS approach for the airport. So as usual, we have RNAVs. I think we're gonna be good with the visual. TOD point is getting calculated, and we are at our cruising altitude of 10,000 feet. We'll keep our landing lights on because we are not going above 10,000 and we are just staying at 10,000. And we should be at our TOD, top of descent, within 20 minutes. Yeah, we'll be trying to cruise as fast as possible, staying in the green band obviously. We have a lot of headwind, so I've put my throttle all the way up to max. We'll just monitor our MFD engine section to make sure nothing goes to red. Our NG is at 100.6%. I might just pull to 99 or something. Just below 100. Oop. Okay, see, 99.98. And there you go, 100, yeah. So we are at 150 knots right now, traveling through some dense cloud here. I can see nothing on either side. Well, let me talk about the plan that I have going forward. So I'll be away from home for around 4 days, from Friday up to Tuesday. So once I come back, I will move out from the trial version of OnAir Manager, and we're gonna get the 3 months or 6 months plan. And after that, I'll be regularly streaming OnAir Manager hops, and yeah, I'll be streaming them. We'll be posted them on YouTube. The channel name is Zulu Alpha 9er7. You can find it on the about section of my Twitch. Make sure to follow and make sure to subscribe the YouTube channel. But yeah, I will be doing regular videos on Air Manager jobs that we do. Also, I'm planning to do some videos with the Kit Fox because I absolutely love that plane. So we'll do some videos on Kit Fox as well by Parallel 42. And maybe I'm thinking of doing a world tour or like 50 states, which will be 49 because I'll be doing the 50 states video with Kodiak, and with Kodiak we cannot fly from mainland US to Hawaii, so we might do 49 states because we can definitely go to Alaska using other airports, but yeah, Hawaii we'll have to check if there is any airport in between. Even smaller airports will take the chance. But yeah, that's currently the plan I have once I get back. So make sure to follow the Twitch channel and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated with all those videos. Also, I think I'll make a quick video on how to use SpadNext. It looks very complicated at first, but once you start playing around with little settings here and there, and also there are thousands of online snippets that you can use and profiles that you can build on top of. So let me know if you guys want that video. I will definitely work on that too. But yeah, apart from that, we're gonna be doing a lot of videos with Kodiak. I absolutely love this plane. I love to fly it everywhere. And we'll do some videos with Freedom Fox or Kit Fox by Parallel 42, and we'll do some airliner videos as well. So that is it for the plan that I have so far, and we'll see how things go. We still didn't get away from the clouds. Looks like it is gonna be like this for a while. I wish Flight Simulator had radar option working, but as of right now we know it is not working. And map, let's see, yeah, we can turn on this on our map. Next rad there is option, but it just doesn't work. Same thing with our MFD. If we go to map option, next rad there is, but it doesn't really work. Very annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, so we're about 15 minutes away from our top of descent. Oh, there you go. We have some clear patch here. That looks terrifying though. first the entire sky was like that. But nope, we are heading to another terrifying cloud. I set my power to full again because the headwind is really strong and we are only going at about 144. Let me know if there is any application that you use for um, for monitoring the weather on radar or GPS or anything, if it works. So far the flight has been uneventful and I hope it goes like that as well. Sometimes boring flights are better than having flights where so one of the flights all my displays went black, so then I had to turn on my standby altitude indicator, which really came in handy that one time. One of the reasons why I turned it off is because of the FPS drop. But let's try something. We'll put that in and let's go ahead and try that. Ooh, yeah. So what are the options that it has? Have more, course direct to. It does have a lot of stuff though. SVS guidelines. Wow, a lot of the things. Okay, battery charge 83%. Battery temperature. Wow, that is really nice though. If you shut down nav mode, what is that? Oh, okay, that is navigation. So we can control a lot of stuff using this. Wow. I know what SVS is, so I'm not gonna turn any of that on. But yeah, it is a small little display that I never really use. That's the reason I always keep it off. So our TOD point is in 25 nautical miles and 11 minutes away. So once again we're going to use the VNav that we did in our last hop, which will make it super easy for us to descend. But the clouds, I'm not a big fan of these dark clouds. I can't see anything at all. Let me just quickly set my heading bug to our runway heading, which is 111 for runway 13. So there you go. It will be a quick sharp turn, it has to be, so we'll have to be careful with our flap setting and all that. Once again, the plan is simple. Once we hit our top of descent, we're going to be starting to descend towards our first waypoint, which is simply straight for visual runway 13. And right before we hit this waypoint, we are going to set our flaps to 10. We'll not try, we have to keep our speed within 120 to 138, and then after hitting this waypoint, before we go to our final approach fix, which is simply written as final, we are going to set our speed below 120 knots before we hit final and put our flaps to 20 degrees. And right when we hit final, we're going to start to decrease our speed below 108 knots, set our flaps to full, turn on our auxiliary fuel pump and land. That is the plan. Let's see what happens, because even with my full power we are at 136 knots only. Let's check our headwind. 28 knots at 249. Okay, after a little break, we are about 6.5 minutes away from our top of descent, so let's go ahead and set our altitude. The first altitude will be 3000 feet. We'll set it to 3000 for our initial altitude. We can set to just 2700 just so we have some room to quickly change our final approach fix altitude. And other than that, we'll just wait for our top of descent to be within a minute, and then we are going to turn on our VNAV. The clouds are clearing. It looks clear up front a little bit. According to our meter information, the base of overcast clouds is at 4,300 feet. So 4,300 feet is overcast for our destination airport. So maybe we'll have some clear clouds above. Let's see. Oh my god, this is beautiful. But you can see that large angry cloud right ahead of us in quite a distance, but right now we're just flying on the layer of one of the bases. That looks beautiful then. So finally we got some clear view before our top of descent, which is in about 4 minutes. So let's go ahead and set our altimeter for our destination, which is 2962. Right now it's 68, so we'll set that to 62. Our aircraft trying to climb that, and we're gonna hit our top of descent in about 2.5 minutes. We're right now in blanket of clouds, so we are going to start our descent pretty soon. Right now, according to the meter information, the winds are at 4 knots, so we could technically just land at runway 31 instead of runway 13, but it's fine, we already have it set up, so we're just gonna go ahead and continue with our selected approach. Let me go ahead and turn on our VNAV, which is right here behind altitude selector. So we'll set that VNAV, and if we check our PFD, VPath is on white, so it's not activated, it is armed. And once we go over our TOD point, which will be right here, let me zoom out here, right here, once we cross that, our VPath will be activated and not armed anymore, so we'll follow and just descend down. Once we start descending, we have to make sure our power is set accordingly and we don't exceed our speed limits. So in about a minute we are going to hit our top of descent. So if we go to our PFD right now, I'll show you. We have green VPath, which means it is activated right now, and we have started descending. Very slow in the beginning, around 300, or based on whatever calculation our flight management system did. We are descending on that rate, and yeah, we are on our path. We just have to manage our speed, and we should be good. So I'll bring my power lever back from max to just a little bit back, so we have it. Yeah, so right now in our PFD the winds are completely opposite to what we are supposed to have, obviously because of our altitude, but once we get down we are gonna have 140 at 4 knots, and should be a easy landing. Nothing should go out of ordinary. Also, once you're on your VPath, if you go to your MFD, you can see BOD, so bottom of descent, and we're gonna get there in about 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Just to keep in mind, so within 10 minutes we are going to be making turn for final, and then we'll be landing shortly. So within 15 minutes we should be parked and done with this job. That is very weird. I think it's the cloud rendering that's causing that. That was very weird. What I fail to notice is our speed. It's almost at 160 when we are. I mean, still good. We are 7 minutes away. So it shouldn't be too bad. We'll pull back on our power and we'll try to keep it within 150, 140 to 150. We don't want to end up going too fast. We're still on VPAT and let's see the VPAT deviation. Not bad. 44 feet. Ooh, heavy rain down there. Wow. We are not too far away. We are going to overfly the airport and then go ahead. Right now our cloud base is at 1900 feet. That is not really that good as the airport elevation is 800 feet. So I believe the RNAV approach would have been better, but we'll still try to manage with the visual approach that we selected. So there's definitely heavy rain in that airport. I think going forward, when I start actually streaming regularly for OnAir Manager, I'll be trying to move more towards the west. I don't want to change the company and all that, so I'm just gonna keep the same profile and we're gonna try to just move towards the west as far as possible, towards west coast. And I think it will also be fun, you know, going from one side to the other. It's just gonna be really fun. And I think we can also incorporate the 50 states within our OnAir Manager career. So I'm really excited about the OnAir Manager career streams that will be coming up in just about a week. But as of right now, we are at 140 knots. We are pretty good. And let's check our winds at PFD. I was gonna say PDF. So 19 knots, still like not really matching what I'm getting from from the meter information, which is okay. Let's actually check on our MFD. So let's go to MFD. We'll go to our destination. Yeah, still it says 140 at 04 knots. So broken clouds as 019, flight level 019. So it looks okay, not too bad. And we're about to hit straight waypoints, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna reset our altitude. So let's set it to about, what was it on our MFD? So 1100. So yeah, we'll set it to about 1000 feet. So by the time we make a turn, also we'll put our flaps 10 as we were in the flap speed and we're about to hit straight. Our landing lights are on, flaps is set to 10 and everything else is looking good. Our altitude is set for final approach fix. Once we make the turn, we are going to set our flaps to 20, and right before we hit our final approach fix, we'll try to decrease our speed below 108 knots so we can have our flaps 35 and turn on our auxiliary fuel pump. Also, it looks like the clouds are clearing up just a little bit. I'm pretty sure once we descend down we'll be fine, but my only concern is that we're gonna end up having a tailwind even though it says winds are at 140. Oh, it's snowy down there. It's all white. I'm still waiting for all 4 seasons to show up on Flight Simulator, and fall and spring will be my definitely favorite. So we're making turn for our final and we are below 120 knots, which is exactly what I really want, so that we can set our flaps further to 20 once we're stabilized on the turn. So let me keep my speed around 120, not too low, not too high of it, so we can easily set our flaps. speed is decreasing rapidly, so gotta take care of that. We're still on our turn, that's crazy. Yeah, there you go, the winds have definitely changed and it will be a little bit of tailwind, even though in meter it says 140. A bit annoyed because we could have landed super fast if we chose runway 31, but that's fine, still a-okay. Speed check as we are approaching for our final approach fix. I'm gonna put our flaps down to 20 and we'll try to get as close as possible to 108 knots. So once we make the turn and we are ready for the runway, I can't even see the runway. That's, I hope I can see it right after. Okay, there you go. We'll put our flaps full and auxiliary fuel pump can come on. Still no idea where the runway is, so we might have to go to our alternate airport at the end. I really hope I do end up seeing the runway. I feel like in normal operations it would be the pilot would have already decided to just go ahead with the alternate airport. I can't see anything. Forget about the runway. Yeah, there you go. I saw the runway. And we can definitely land still. Flaps is set to full. It might be a crazy landing, a stupid one, but and it's icy as well, the runway. Okay, we have lined up. We're gonna try to land this beast up here. Okay. There you go. We're about
Landing
to touch
time
down.
logged.
There you go. Oh, that was really smooth. What the heck? But what a crazy weather. Full brakes. I'll just put the reverser on. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Whew, that was crazy. Auxiliary fuel pump goes off. Taxi light will come on. And this is one nasty weather and landing. I mean, I really did that nice, I believe. Low idle, and we're straight up gonna go straight and then take a right turn to the apron. Oh my god, this was really crazy. Auxiliary fuel pump is off. We missed the taxi turn. I don't know how I really did that at the end, but the landing was pretty good. I think what I'm gonna try to do from next time is land at 65, 70 knots. That gives me easy touchdowns. So we're gonna take a left turn here and take this stand right here. But I think this was one of the craziest landing I had to do in such a weather. Like you can see it's going crazy out there, my god. Okay, so we did that landing. So static heat can go off, taxi light can go off, nav strobe can go off, only beacon light is on, and we'll cut down our power.
Engine off time logged. The flight is finished.
Generator alternator
It
can
has
go
been
off,
monitored
auxiliary
by
fuel
OnAir.
pump goes off, and let's go ahead and check. So there you go, landing was very smooth, 69 feet per minute, which was crazy, like based on how much turn and everything we had to do at the very end. We got a lot of bonuses as well, so that was, I think, pretty good. There was a lot of engine, normally it's like 0.05%, but yeah, that was crazy, and I really enjoyed it though. At the end, I really ended up enjoying it a lot. And now we will just clean up our aircraft. Flaps will go fully up. beacon light can come off, and auxiliary bus can go off. This annoying menu can go off, and power goes off. This comes off, and fuel valves are off. So we have a clean run and done. Okay, here we are parked here, and it is pouring rain and snow here. It looks beautiful though. The plane is absolutely perfect for every weather condition, every runway type, and you have seen how maneuverable the aircraft is. So I really hope you end up buying the Kodiak 100. I'll put a link down on the description on my YouTube video. And yeah, thank you for watching the stream. This was really fun for me, and I hope you enjoyed too. So I'll see you in the next stream.